welcome back. My name is Matea. I am a Level 1 Midwifery Education Program student at McMaster University. This video is all about sort of how to present yourself as a midwifery student and what professionalism as a midwifery student looks like. I'm creating this video because I know it's a really strange sort of idea, but one of those things that I constantly asked myself was, what should I be wearing to my interviews or to the tours that I'm going on or to the information session nights? And your appearance definitely does not make or break your application or how people perceive you, but that instant that you first walk in the door and greet somebody for an interview, they've already kind of assessed who you are and they've framed an idea in their head of what type of person you are and what type of midwife you would make. So yeah, this is what I wore actually for my midwifery interview. I'll step back a little so you can see a little better. But it's a long skirt. It goes just below the knees. I have practical shoes on, and I'll get to why you're wearing those. I have my earrings in, as you can see. Watch, and that's about it. I wore very minimal makeup on the day of. I don't have any on at the moment. I wore my hair like this with a more neutral hair elastic. But yeah, this is kind of what I wore. I was definitely a little more colorful, I guess you would say, in what I wore to my interviews than a lot of the people that got in. I remember actually speaking to quite a few of them on the day when I had my interviews. The people that I actually spoke to also got into the program, which was really cool. A lot of people were wearing kind of a full business suit idea or some nice dress pants and a nice blouse. Almost everybody had practical type shoes on, and that's because if you don't know it, you will have to move between your stations. You might have to move quickly. And do not buy new practical shoes. There's quite a few people in the program that actually have permanent blisters and scars on their heels from the day of, just because all the rubbing and stuff didn't go over too well. So wear a pair of shoes that you're comfortable in, wear clothes that you're comfortable in. You're trying to represent who you are, and every single person that got into the program, they were all wearing unique clothing styles, and every single day everybody has a very much independent sense of style. I wouldn't say our sense of style has all meshed together or is all the same in any way, sense, or form. There's a representation from any style sort of there. I would definitely recommend you don't wear ripped jeans and a sweaty sweatshirt hoodie type deal to the interview. It is a job interview. You need to put forward the professional self that you'd be trying to put forward for this career. So that means dress for the job you want, not the one you have, which is what we're kind of going to cover today. So for your hair, and you know what, this isn't to say that you have to dress this way or look this way to be a midwifery student or to get into the program. It's just kind of when we did our professionalism unit, this is sort of what they covered for what they're looking for us to work towards. And a lot of it they also didn't cover. It's just kind of tips and hints that I've gotten from upper years over the years when I was trying to apply. So your hair, practical. Don't get a giant fancy updo that you pay for at a salon for your interview. Midwives have to be able to run on the go and just put their hair up in a messy ponytail and go to a birth for 12 hours, 24 hours, for however long it's going to be. So try to put forward that self that you're trying to project. Try to show that you can be low maintenance, that you're able to get ready on the go, that you can still present a professional self without having to spend tons of time or look like you spent tons of time doing it. So for me, I have my little hair combs, which I wear a lot, and I just braided my hair back, and that's what I'm most comfortable with, so that's what I decided to go with. For your jewelry, again, you want to sort of present the type of self that you're trying to be. So if you think of any midwives that you've met, they probably won't be crazy out there with their accessories and with their clothing and stuff, just because a midwife's life is really busy. They're on call 24/7. They have to be prepared to be able to, jump in and go to a birth at any time and go to clinicals all the time, that sort of thing. So it's not really practical to be constantly done all the way up, although there are some spectacular midwives who are done up all the time, and I absolutely admire them. They're wonderful. For your nails, this is actually a really interesting one. So for your nails, if you think about it, think of, the midwives you've met. Their nails have all probably been rather short, kind of like like that. Because if you think about it, midwives work with their hands a lot, and do you really want to have a midwife with like stiletto nails that big with tons of gems and appliques touching your body and assisting you and assisting with your labor and doing internal exams and that sort of thing? Or do you want a midwife that doesn't have giant sharp spikes on the tips of her fingers? So maybe think about that when you're going into your interviews, just because presenting that polished self of maybe just, you know, a light colored nail polish or a single nail polish and shorter nails, they don't have to be short, but just shorter nails, that shows that you take care of yourself and that you're low maintenance and that you understand that you're going to be working with your hands. And it's one of those subliminal message things where they're like, oh, we don't have to teach them that, so they're going to be a good fit. The next thing I'd go with would be makeup. Don't go, I mean, you can do what feels best for you, but I'd recommend sort of lighter makeup, just because, again, you're trying to show that it doesn't take you forever to get ready and that you are really well suited to this 24-hour on-call situation that you're going to be in. I actually wore red lipstick when I went to it. I like sort of that more old-fashioned style, as you can tell by the hair combs and the red lips and that sort of thing. And again, I was a little more dressed up than most people there, but everybody there was pretty much, you know, neutral makeup, neutral clothes, professional looking, that sort of thing. And a lot of them wore flats. There were a couple that wore heels, but they were, again, practical heels that you could move in and you could easily see somebody going in. It wasn't like the huge stiletto heels, which are fun, but they might not work the best for your interviews. Clothing, we already covered. Again, sort of, people tended to go towards more of a neutral top and a pant, dress pant or dress skirt type bottom. There were a couple that wore a business dress with a little cover type deal. And I'm going to see if we can maybe get the class to pose for a photo or to do a little "this is what I wore" for my interview thing, because I feel like people might be interested in that. And again, it's just putting forward that first impression that, yes, I'm right for the position, now ask me your questions. Accessories. The accessories, it depends on who you are. So you could wear all the accessories you want. You could wear some really cool earrings that represent who you are and your culture. You could wear a really fancy necklace, that sort of thing, whatever you feel like. This is kind of what I wore, and I'd really recommend a watch, and make sure it's a watch that kind of looks like you'd expect for a midwifery type watch. You do need to have a waterproof watch that can keep the time, keep seconds, because you're going to be doing water births potentially, and you're going to be getting messy, and it's going to get covered and all sorts of fun stuff, and you need to be able to take it off and clean it really well. So if you're kind of wearing a watch and your jewelry is rather neutral and that sort of stuff, then you already look like you fit the part, which is a lot easier than having to tailor somebody to fit the part. And again, you know, every single midwifery student in the program is extremely unique, and they all have very unique styles, and they all work. And I think the most important thing is that you stay true to yourself, and you stay true to your style. Because if you've been drawn to the profession of midwifery, then you already are the right fit. You already have that drive to care for birthing people and to care for babes and to be part of the healthcare system and to make a difference really in everybody's lives. So you've already done that much. And if who you are is represented best by wearing spectacular makeup and fancy hair and a really slim, tight-fitting short dress and tall heels, then you know what? You go for it, because you'll be able to put forward the self that you feel most comfortable with, and your answers will also reflect who you are. And what they really look for in these interviews are your answers. They don't really care about what you're wearing, but a lot of people, you know, that's the thing that they're going to think about first. What should I wear to my interview? So this is the first step. So it's all about putting forward the most professional self that you want to be. And I guess the final thing I'll touch on, which not really pertinent to interviews, but something I think we should all consider. When we did our professionalism presentation, so somebody from the professionalism office actually comes into the midwifery classroom during our first year, and I think they come back again in second year. I'll look into that. But we'll see them a few times, and basically they're there to tell us, you know, what does it mean to be professional and what you need to start working on so that you can put forward the most professional self. Because the instant you start saying, oh, I'm a midwifery student applicant, I'm a midwifery student, I'm a midwife, I am not a midwife, but once I say that, you are instantly a representation of the midwifery community. So when people see you, they see the midwifery community, and they make the assumption that every single person that they encounter that is a midwife or a midwifery student or a midwifery student applicant is going to be exactly like you. So you want to put forward the most professional self you can so that you are a positive representation of the community. So something that kind of ties into that is your social media. So start thinking now about what your social media accounts look like. Are they ones where they're private, so not everybody can see all your information and not everybody can reach out to you? Because you are going to be seeing lots of clients, and you do need to learn to keep, well, this is actually a debated thing. Some people keep a boundary, some people don't. It honestly comes down to what you're most comfortable with and probably the practices of your own clinic. But are you able to enact a barrier between your private and your work life, if you so desire? What type of photos are represented on your social media accounts? What type of videos are on there? Who has tagged you in photos? Are you being tagged in photos where you're talking down about your current education institution or about your current university? Because that's not putting forward the best self, and that's actually something you can get into a lot of trouble for. So really make sure that your social media starts to represent who you want to be, and the type of midwifery student or the type of midwife that you want to eventually be. One that is engaged in their community, one that is caring, one that believes in in birthing people's empowerment, and women's empowerment, and feminism, if you do believe in it. If you don't, then make sure that it shows what you do believe in. Start following, the Association of Ontario Midwives. Start following the Canadian Association of Midwives. Start following the MSMC, the McMaster Student Midwifery Council. Follow the different university midwifery program Twitter feeds and Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts, and just sort of get to know what type of social media you'll be looking at, and what sort of things you should start learning about, because they're honestly the best place to get tips about what sort of questions you'll be asked in your interviews and what sort of information you should be prepared to answer. Because while the interviews aren't going to ask you specifics about midwifery and what it is, they will ask you, those character building questions of who are you and why do you want to be here and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what you want to look for when you're putting forward what to wear or thinking about what to wear. That's kind of what you want to think about when you're deciding what to wear for your interviews, or what to wear when you're going to practice interviews or to those information sessions, because that's putting forward the best you, and that's making people remember you. And honestly, when you dress in a way that puts yourself forward as part of the profession, you're going to feel like you're part of that profession more, and you'll probably answer questions more in line with what that profession is looking for in an individual. Whereas if you were dressing, in those ripped jeans and that grungy sweatshirt, you might not answer questions or your questions might not be perceived in the way you want them to, because it's not showing that you put in care into how you dressed to present yourself on the day of. So, those are my recommendations. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And if you have any ideas for future videos that you'd like to see, please feel free to also leave those below. I look forward to hearing from you and creating some new videos in the future. Mwah.